ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Tuesday, November 11th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Marshall football coach Tony Gibson today on what happened against JMU and look ahead to this week's road trip at Georgia State. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. And, of course, your texts are always welcome. But first, we want to announce today a statement was released earlier by Kindred Communications and Tri-State Coldcats President Mike Kirtner about the Tri-State Coldcats. According to Mr. Kirtner, in the statement released, that the team faced challenges coordinating, with Marshall University baseball during the summer recruiting season, and there will not be Coldcats baseball next summer coming back to Huntington. And so, Mr. Kirtner said that there will be an effort to bring another team in with another league, and that would probably be in the 2027 season. We're learning more as we speak about this, and we want to bring in to the program now the general manager of the Tri-State Coldcats, Christian Palmer, who has been with the organization for the past 2 seasons. And so, Christian, the announcement today that there will not be summer baseball in 2026, very disappointing. Why did this decision happen? What brought this about?
Well, first and foremost, Paul, thanks for bringing me on. And yeah, definitely unfortunate news, not what I want to relay to the listeners today. And also just wanted to say thanks to you for talking about the team over the past couple years. And obviously we had the games broadcasted right on this station. Unfortunate that we won't be able to do that in 2026. And, us at Kindred Communications, we weren't involved with things right off of the bat. And, Jason Camp, he had a group that was working with Marshall to start off with. And then, whenever we got involved with things, kind of going back to the quote from President Mike Kirtner, there was just some disconnect with Marshall and Major League Baseball, who runs the Appalachian League, and Marshall trying to build up their baseball program. And Coach Beals had a tremendous season last year, and just beautiful facilities over there, and he wants to be able to showcase that to his players all the time and understand that from Major League Baseball's perspective, they didn't really care much about building up the fan base and promotional efforts, things like that. Their main focus and really only objective for this league is to develop baseball players. They've got so many guys that have been drafted in the MLB up to this point and who have actually played in the MLB. Their number one goal and objective is to increase that each and every year. We've had now this many guys drafted, and it's all about development on Major League Baseball side. And I think just the reason why things weren't able to work, Major League Baseball just didn't feel like they had access to everything that they needed at the stadium at all times to develop their players while they are here over the summer. And have to keep in mind as well that Marshall Baseball has a lot of guys that are around during the summer working out as well. And so of course Coach Beals wanted to leave openings for his players to be able to work out and develop and do everything that he needs to do to help his team progress, and also bring in guys on recruiting visits, and long way to answer, but that's where the disconnect was.
And also, as you mentioned, this is a league. It's a developmental league, so the main goal is to develop players. But as we all know, Major League Baseball, the experience is really what counts the most. You go for the game, but you stay for the experience, and that is amplified at the minor league level. Banana Ball, for an example, has really revitalized baseball outside of the major league ranks, and so you get a slice of that at the minor league level, and that's something that the Tri-State Coldcats wanted to do, bring that slice of minor league baseball, the show. Put the show on, the baseball. You come for the baseball, you stay for the show.
Yeah, I've often, after getting this job, kind of described it as a carnival with a baseball game going on as well. You want to have fun things going on that fans seek out and why they are going to the games. In a league like the Appalachian League, Sal Mineo was a great player for us, but not many people know Sal Mineo. You won't find a ton of names in the league because they are younger college players like, oh, I've got to be there because Sal is playing. Well, no, maybe what would gear a fan more up to go to the game is, oh, they're giving away 300 bobbleheads of the mascot tonight. That's awesome. We also had a fireworks show on July 5th and won that game in walk-off fashion, one that I'll never forget. That was really special. We had pretty much a promotion for each and every single game this past season, and where we got involved so late in 2024, we really weren't able to have promotions. But in 2025, we geared those up to where we had something each and every night that the fans could look forward to, and that was really what we focused on and thought that we were able to build a connection with the city and its fans over the past couple of years. And just sad that we won't be able to do that in 2026.
There's a lot of effort put into those promotions and putting on the carnival, the show. And so, alluding to the statement that Mike Kurtner, our president, made regarding the hopes for a team in 2027, can you speak to any outside interests from different leagues maybe wanting to come into Huntington and maybe having a go at it in 2027?
So we have had conversations with multiple different leagues, just kind of kicking the tires, checking to see what is out there. There are a lot of similar leagues to the Appalachian League. Obviously what the Appy League can hang its hat on is that they are directly funded and operated by Major League Baseball, but there are other leagues. There's a team in Chillicothe, the Paints. The Frontier League is, something that we have had conversations about. The Prospect League, that is what Chillicothe is in. So, yes, we have looked around at different options, and hopefully we'll be able to make something work in 2027.
Okay, and I don't know if you have the answer to this at the moment, but would Marshall University's Jack Cook Field be considered the venue for any future endeavors, or are there other options that are a possibility?
That one, I would be lying if I said I was 100% certain, but in some conversations that we have had with the Prospect League, I don't believe that they would have as high of a demand as Major League Baseball for exactly, time frames when they would need the stadium, need the workout facilities, etc. I was told by someone who works with the Chillicothe Paints that a lot of the teams in their league, they don't even have a clubhouse. The guys kind of just pull up on the bus 3-4 hours before the game, get settled, do pregame BP, take some infield, things like that. And so, if we are able to make something work in a league like the Prospect League, where their demands would be much less, then I could see things working out perfectly at Jack Cook Field.
Okay, so there are some options out there that would satisfy everyone's need for the ballpark.
Yes, correct.
Christian Palmer is with us, general manager of the Tri-State Coldcats. It was announced earlier today that Tri-State Coldcats baseball will not be returning to Huntington next summer, and so Huntington's entry into the Appalachian League for the time being has gone dark. There is hope to bring a new team for summer of 2027, and Christian is part of those efforts to bring baseball now back to the Tri-State once again. Christian, any final thoughts? I know this was a fun experience the last couple of years for you, and I know you directly oversaw the team day to day. That includes fans, and I don't know too many people that really had anything bad to say about what happened during the ball games. It was fun time. You know, if anything, I had people telling me, hey, they have grander ideas. They want, hey, why can't you do this now? Do this next. Do this next.
I guess final thoughts is, man, what a past couple of years that this has been. You know, I started as an intern at Kindred Communications, interning for you, Paul. And, you know, short, I think about a year and a half later, I was named the general manager of the Coldcats. Thanks a ton to Mike Kurtner and his son Reeves for believing in me and, you know, giving me the opportunity to live out my dreams. The reason why I went to college for radio, always said I wanted to be the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Baseball is my number one passion. I've made thousands of baseball YouTube videos. I watch all 162 Pirates games if I can. Live and breathe baseball. And, you know, even though the team won't be here in 2026, nobody can ever take it away from me that I was a general manager of an MLB-affiliated baseball team. So thanks to Kindred Communications for the opportunities that they have supplied me early in my career. And I know both Kindred and hopefully myself will accomplish great things in the future.
Christian Palmer with us, the general manager of Tri-State Coldcats. The announcement today that Tri-State Coldcats baseball will not return to Huntington and Marshall University in 2026. Christian, we appreciate your efforts. Thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you, Paul.
We're going to hear from you when we continue. Our text line is open, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We're also going to hear from head coach Tony Gibson, the Thundering Herd, trying to bounce back after a disappointing loss against JMU. We'll get his thoughts when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests, they sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Following a record-breaking October, University Ford is ready to honor those that served and those that support them with extra discounts you won't find anywhere. New Escapes up to $8,000 off. New Rangers up to $5,000 off. And the largest selection of F-Series, even Super Duties, take up to $10,000 off, all with up to 125% of KBB value for your trade. New ownership, improved processes, better deals. The bow tie means a better buy. It's a November to remember at universityfordwv.com. See deals for complete details on all offers.
Fall may be the busiest time of the year. So much going on. So let Jim's Steak and Spaghetti take one thing off of your mind. What to eat. Enjoy Jim's one-of-a-kind spaghetti, haddock fish, famous homemade pies, and now introducing West Virginia hot dogs, all served with Jim's great quality service. Dine in or now order online and have it delivered. It's good food fast. Jim's Steak and Spaghetti, 920 Fifth Avenue, downtown Huntington. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 8:30, and Sunday, 11 to 3. Jim's, Fifth Avenue, Huntington, or jimspaghetti.com.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Tuesday edition of Your Drive. Paul Swann, your host, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is now open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And we do that every day, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. If you just joined us, we found out not that long ago, I found out literally about 15 minutes before airtime, that the Tri-State Coldcats would not be returning for the 2026 season. And of course, that announcement coming out not that long ago. We had just a few minutes ago the general manager of the Tri-State Coldcats, Christian Palmer, to kind of explain the reasoning why it's not happening next season and maybe what the prospects will be for minor league baseball in 2027 and beyond. Texter says, Paul, this is tragic news about the Coldcats. I was a season ticket holder and enjoyed the experience. Thanks to all that made it last as long as we had it. I appreciate the thoughts there. And you can join in as well. And again, that number one more time, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And I missed the Huntington Cubs. That was so much fun. Yeah, I go back a little bit. Huntington Cubs, that was fun. That was always a good time. I was a lot younger then. Yeah, I had a little bit more free time on my hands as well, so that was something that I could do And, you miss the charms of St. Cloud Commons. For those of you that never experienced it, wow, that was throwback baseball right there. But, it was an experience. And, of course, that's why you go to the ball game. It's an experience. You want to sit out there and enjoy the game and enjoy the game on its time. And also, you want to have a good time. Baseball is not one of those games where you just have to be constantly, intensely following. I mean, you want to follow the pitch count, you want to follow the batter-pitcher duel, all of that. But, man, you can breathe. Of course, then there's other sports like football. You're living play-by-play. Basketball, back and forth. Hockey, I mean, you're living play moment to moment. I mean, soccer, it's a little more chill, but you get where I'm saying. Baseball was an experience. It's something you go out to the ballpark. So, yeah, this is sad news today that the Tri-State Coldcats will not be returning for the 2026 season. So we'll get your thoughts as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Football coming up this Saturday. We're going to go on the air 11 a.m. We'll be at Giovanni's 20th Street as the Herd is on the road, heading down to Georgia State for a contest in which Marshall would like to finish out strong, win the next 3, get into a bowl game, and that would be a nice bounce back from last year where you win the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and then you find out that your coach is leaving, and then you find out that a majority of your players are leaving, and you can't field the football team. And I'm not saying that set Marshall football back. This is the transfer portal era. You can rebuild quite quickly, or at least you can put your team back together. It's just never the same, and you don't have that much carryover. But now Marshall is in a situation where 2 out of the next 3 get you a bowl game or at least bowl eligibility. The next 3, you win them, 7-5. I think you'll be fine. You can go to a bowl game. And that's something that Coach Gibson talked about earlier today. But let's get his thoughts. First up, about going back and looking at what happened against JMU.
Going back, we'll go back to the JMU game. Watching the film, it's heartbreaking. We had a lot of chances in that game and couldn't take advantage of it. At the fourth quarter, we were right in position where we wanted to be. We had the ball at midfield and just came up short. So it's it stings, it hurts, but, we have to move on because we're playing a Georgia State team offensively that has some weapons. So I believe they have the best wide receiver in the Sun Belt. The running backs run really hard. Their quarterbacks are mobile, so they present some issues. So we're going to, turn all our attention to them, and we did that Sunday. Today had a great practice outside in this August weather. Felt really good out, and thought that the kids flew around and had a good time.
Coach is lying. It did not feel good out there this morning, but the team is trying to bounce back. And that was one of the questions asked to Coach Gibson. Just what's the response from the team like after the loss? And Coach expanded on that.
Yeah, it is. And in this game, every week half of us lose or half of us win. So, we've came out on the short end of too many times this year, in my opinion. But what we have to do now, I told you guys the other day, we're down to 18 days with these seniors. And what we need to do is we need to enjoy these 18, and then we need to play, win some games to get another 18 or 15 or 20, whatever it is with these guys, and finish this thing the right way. We've got too good of a football team, in my opinion, to not make it to a bowl game. And it's going to be great for our program. It's going to be great for our young kids, and it's going to be great for our seniors on their way out. They deserve that, and they've earned that. And now we have to go finish the season the right way and find a way to get a couple more wins.
So that's my question to you. I think we are in a different headspace now. Is 7-5 going to be good enough for you? Win the next 3, you get to a bowl game, you think, okay, good start to the season, Coach Gibson. There were some spots where you had a moment or two where you could have turned the tide and won the game, and we'd be even in a better spot. But good start, Coach Gibson. 7-5. Let's go to a bowl game and look forward to the next season. Or where are you? Is that going to be disappointing to you if Marshall can even get to 7-5? We'll hear more from Coach Gibson in just a few minutes. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also, we're going to get some more of your text in. A couple of thoughts already about the Tri-State Coldcats. The announcement earlier today that the team will not be returning to Huntington in 2026. And, of course, efforts to bring a minor league baseball team to Huntington are being pursued. No timetable there yet. The earliest would be 2027. And, of course, I'll keep you updated on those efforts as I have information. But there will not be summer baseball in Huntington, or at least minor league baseball in Huntington during the summer next year. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, Tri-State. Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's.
This fall, let the Car Ferry bring a little magic to your driveway at Mark Porter Auto Group. With locations in Pomeroy and Jackson, Ohio, and Ashland, Kentucky, they make it easy to get into a safe, reliable vehicle. Every used car goes through a 117-point inspection, fall into a safe, reliable vehicle, and let the Car Ferry guide you to Mark Porter Auto Group in Pomeroy, Jackson, and Ashland, or shop 24/7 at markporterautogroup.com.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Robert's Lawn and Landscaping, residential or commercial, serving the Tri-State. Phone 304-633-5822. Ray's Mexican Cantina, 234 3rd Avenue in Gallipolis, Ohio. Phone 740-441-5871. And Altizer Farm Supplies. See the Central Boiler, Outdoor Wood Furnace at 585 Center Point Road, Thurman, Ohio. Phone 740-245-5196.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Tuesday edition of Your Drive. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line still open, 304-396-TALK. That is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that every day right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We found out earlier that the Tri-State Coldcats will not be returning for the 2026 season. And if you missed it earlier, Christian Palmer was with us at the top of the hour to talk about why the decision was made. If you missed that interview, we'll have it part of our podcast coming up later on this evening. Texter writes in and says, Paul, I had good memories at Coldcats games. Was the last place that I got to chat with Woody before his passing. Thanks to everyone that worked in the organization. Absolutely appreciate the thought. And, of course, Woody Woodrum, who passed away last year, he had this brand new scorebook. Got a new scorebook just for the games, and then after he passed, I made sure that it got into the right hands. So that's definitely a memory there. Being able to see minor league baseball return to Huntington after going so long without it. As I mentioned to you earlier, the Huntington Cubs. I mean, that was a memory for a lot of people. It was fun going out to the Huntington Cubs games, and of course, as a broadcasting person, one of the memories is, hey, Matt Vasgersian's got his start here in Huntington. So, major broadcaster in baseball got his start in Huntington, West Virginia with the Coldcats. I'm sorry, with the Huntington Cubs. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number. Again, to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're talking about Marshall football getting set to take on Georgia State. That's coming up on Saturday. But we've also got basketball coming up tomorrow. This will be the home opener for Coach Jackson and his squad. The Herd coming into this one 2-0. Elon also coming into the contest 2-0, leading the series 1-0. This will be an interesting game because Marshall center Matt Van Komen last year with Elon. So Matt has seen the Elon side of this matchup, and now he's going to be on the Marshall side of this matchup. But this is a interesting contest. Elon is putting up the points. Right now, they're averaging 95.5 points a game. They are only giving up 70.5 a contest. They are putting the points up. Their games, 2 games now, small sample size, but scoring margin has been 25 points. Now, take that with a grain of salt, the scoring margin, because they beat up Belmont Abbey 99-51. And then they had to go to overtime to take on UNC Greensboro. That was a road game, and won that one in overtime 92-90. So take that scoring margin with a grain of salt right now. We'll see what it looks like. Comparing the matchup, Marshall right now only a scoring margin of 9. But Marshall's averaging over 81 points a game, giving up only 72.5. A come-from-behind victory at Toledo, 85-73, and then a close one. It was fun, though, at Massachusetts, 78-72. So some good wins on the scoreboard early for the Thundering Herd. This is the next one. It'll also be your first opportunity to see Marshall, and that's coming up tomorrow. Now, of course, what are you going to do? Because are you going to Morgantown to go watch the Herd in the semifinals of the Sun Belt Conference Tournament take on West Virginia for an option to either host if UCF beats Kentucky and Marshall wins, or at least go to Lexington. There's your option here. You win, you're either hosting if UCF beats UK, or UK wins, you're going to Lexington. Either way, Lexington, not that far. You can get to that. If Marshall wins and UK loses, Marshall is going to host the championship, and that will be on Sunday. So there's your chance to see soccer for maybe one last time, unless Marshall would get into the NCAA tournament and host. So if you're going to Morgantown tomorrow, that should be a fun one. Wednesday night opportunity for Marshall to kind of get that bad taste out of its mouth. Losing to WVU, very tough for the Herd to win in Morgantown, very tough for the Mountaineers to win in Huntington. It's always back and forth. But that's your choice. You're doing that game, or you're doing Marshall and Elon. I'll be here. If you opt for soccer tomorrow, get the streaming app. You can follow along. I'll be here at the game for you. 6 o'clock will be our airtime for the basketball game. You can stream it on our app, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Search for that in your app store, or just go to our website at WRVC.com. Texter says, Paul? Oh, hey, this is nice. Hey, it's Parker. Parker says, Paul, had a nice chat with Mo Latterman. He is doing fine. He wanted me to tell you hello. I appreciate that. Thank you. Love to see Mo come back and visit again. The Latterman family, just a special group of guys. Absolutely. Mo's fantastic. Adrian, their cousin, Tito's fantastic. I miss Abe. Abe was a bundle of joy. Loved my times talking to him and just hanging out with him. So miss those guys absolutely. So it's good to hear that they're doing well. And I was thinking of Latterman's today because I was over at Marshall after I was talking to Coach Gibson. I stopped by the coach's offices briefly so I could take a look at the playbook. And if you're not familiar with this, if you're in the Shoey, say you're there for the next home game, if you're in the deck, you'll see it. It's a really nice podium and glass case. Coach Red and the family gave Coach a playbook. And I was looking at it a little bit. It's pretty cool. And the letter was cool as well. You saw some of the plays, and of course, we're talking 1970 here, so it's not as if somebody's designing this in a Word document here. Somebody had to go do some serious pains to get this printed out right. And the letter, I took a photo of the letter so I could talk about it with you. The letter was interesting. I'm going to read it to you real quick. I just have to pull it up. Apologies. I wasn't planning on doing this, but the podium also has all the 75 names on it. But the letter in the playbook, so yeah, I was looking at the plays, and those are pretty cool. Then the letter reads, it's dated July 1st, 1970. Two football candidates of 1970 from Jim Schroer. Subject, summer fitness. Your summer conditioning program will begin on Monday, July 6th. This will give you 8 weeks to prepare yourself adequately. The program is designed to give you a gradual progression of work, which will put you at a good level of fitness when you report on August 26th. We feel that you all know what will be expected of you on the football field this season. And with this in mind, we hope you will prepare yourselves properly this summer so that you can perform at peak levels throughout the practice sessions. Looking back to our winter fitness program and spring football practice, we think the reason we had so few injuries only 2 players and 1 coach did not compete in the spring game due to injuries was due to the fact that you were all in reasonable good shape. Conditioned athletes are more alert and aren't as injury prone. Keep this in mind this summer and remember what will be expected of you when practice starts. That's the letter that's featured along with a lot of the plays. And Coach was asked about that during the presser today. And here are his thoughts. It's pretty cool, actually, when you think about it. It's kind of that combination of 1970 and 1971 with all the names on the podium. So if you're over at the Shoey, check it out. But here's what Coach had to say about the very generous gift.
Yeah, the playbook, Sharon and Red, when I went and saw them back when I first got hired, they gave it to me. I had we have a really nice, I don't know if you guys have seen it. If not, on your way out today, stop and look at it up in the coach's suite. It's a really nice box. We put it in, have all the names at the 75. So it's special, and it's a little bit of a mixture of 1970 and 71 kind of combined. So it's a pretty awesome deal.
So if you're over at the offices, check it out. It's really well done. And I walked by it earlier. I knew what it was, but when I walked by it coming into the shoe, I just glanced at it from the backside. And so when you go and you look at it, it's pretty cool. It's a nice conversation piece. It's very well done. Again, honors the 75. You got that playbook as well, so that's pretty cool. And I hope that some of you, when you're in the Shoey, just take a look at it for a second, just to see what it was like, just a kind of a piece of those football teams. We'll hear more from Coach Gibson, and we'll get your text when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Poca Valley Bank locations today. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield, subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Transform your outdoors all year long with Roberts Lawn Care and Landscaping. Family owned and operated, serving the tri-state area with expert landscaping services. From vibrant spring gardens to cozy fall patios and everything in between. Roberts specializes in sustainable landscaping that thrives through every season, residential or commercial. Roberts creates personalized solutions to bring your vision to life. Call Roberts today at 304-633-5822 because your dream yard deserves 4 seasons of care.
As the weather cools, bugs may disappear from your windshield, but fall brings plenty of new challenges. Leaves, dirt, and dust. They can pile up on your car, while allergens and debris sneak inside, making your ride less fresh. Don't let fall get the best of your car. Stop by Thoroughbred Express this month for our seasonal specials. We'll wash away the leaves, dirt, and dust inside and out, keeping your car clean, allergy-free, and ready for the season ahead. Join the winner circle with Thoroughbred Express. Head to thoroughbredexpress.com for all the details.
We're going to follow up a record-setting October with a November to remember here at Cardinal Chevrolet, where red tags mean real deals. All new Silverados, 0% financing or save up to $10,000 off MSRP. Trailblazer and Equinox, 0% financing or save up to $5,500. Even our EV models, 0% financing for 60 months. All with up to 125% of KBB value for your trade. New ownership, improved processes, better deals, better deals, better deals. The bow tie means a better buy. Shop CardinalChevy.com. Together, let's drive. See dealer for details.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. but MDA helped her get the best treatments and care. And they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
160,000 kids stay home from school every day for the same reason: bullying. This is Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association. Bullying impacts nearly 1/3 of all students every year, but parents, educators, and concerned adults can make a difference. It takes just one caring adult to intervene and help stop the bullying. Victims need an adult that will listen, will stand up for them, and most importantly, show them that they are not alone. Bullying and cyberbullying have far-reaching effects, from a decline in academic performance to physical illness, depression, or worse. Help us create a safe, bully-free learning environment for all students in West Virginia. One caring adult can make all the difference. Take the pledge to be that adult at NEA.org/bullyfree.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Final segment for today's edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line still open, 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We'll get back to that in just a moment. We are going to hear a little bit more from Coach Tony Gibson, Thundering Herd, getting set for Georgia State, trying to bounce back from the loss against JMU. And one thing that did stand out for Coach Gibson, there were some positives. For one, didn't feel like the team kind of packed it in, didn't feel like they were going to quit. And two, the run game, I think special teams, there are some positives there for Coach Gibson. Here's what he had to say, at least about some of the positive things that came out of that game.
Yeah, I thought we ran the ball extremely well. Antoine had another good game. Carlos, obviously, he's doing a great job. We took care of the football. That was a positive coming off of that last game. Defensively, I thought Paul Hudson played extremely well again. Tayshawn Jeter, I was proud of him. I thought he went in and did a great job. So,
some positive there, and you got to have some of those positives. You go into a situation in Georgia State where, I mean, let's be honest. You look at the record, you're thinking, okay, Marshall should win this game. The tougher games are almost out of the way. I mean, I don't know how you feel about App State this year and Georgia Southern. Those are never easy games for me, but Georgia State, of the three, that's got to be your easiest game, right? So you're going in a situation where they're not doing well. They're really not filling the place up. I mean, they're playing in a converted baseball stadium. Now it's a football stadium. Not exactly the best of situations. I've not heard too many positive things from Herd fans about the trips to Georgia State, and so here we are once again in a situation where you're going to have to bring your own energy. Coach says he knows that. The team's ready. There should be a few supporters at least wearing Kelly Green.
Yeah, I told the kids that this morning in our team meeting. It's all about us and bringing our energy, and we'll have some fans there. I know it's the wives trip for the coaches, so we'll at least have 8 or 9 people in Kelly Green. So we'll have some parents, and I know our fans will travel, the ones that can. So, but what we have to do is go win a football game. Doesn't matter if there's one person or 100,000 people, and that's exactly what I told our guys. If we got to block that out and worry about what's happening in between the lines when the ball's snapped, and we have to be better on the road, and we have to go finish games on the road.
That's Coach Tony Gibson. His thoughts ahead of Georgia State. We'll hear more from him tomorrow, and we'll hear player reaction as well later this week. We've got basketball coming up tomorrow. The Herd taking on Elon. 7 o'clock tip. We're going to go on the air. Actually, I'll be doing the show tomorrow from the Henderson Center. We go on the air at 5 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, and then we'll get you set for Marshall and Elon throughout the night. Let's go back to our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. The news came out earlier today that Tri-State Coldcats baseball will not return to Huntington with the 2026 season and beyond. Disappointing news for a lot of baseball fans today. Texter says, Paul, it was more fun than Marshall baseball. Appreciate the text. Different cup of tea, to be fair. Absolutely different cup of tea. I mean, for Marshall baseball, if you're a baseball fan, you can go to a baseball game, right? But for Marshall baseball, you have to have that connection to Marshall for it to be your team. Now, or you're just going to the baseball game. I mean, for the Coldcats, the connection was it's your team, and your team doesn't mean, hey, I went to Marshall, I live in Huntington, I'm a Marshall guy, so I'm going to go see the Marshall baseball team. But with the Coldcats, you didn't have to be a Marshall guy or a Marshall lady. You didn't have to be. You're a fan of baseball, sure. You want to show up and root the team on, watch a game in the summer, and you know what? Summer baseball always seems more fun because the weather's better, right? Better time of the year, absolutely. Not as wet, not as cold, right? Rain still happens, but you get what I'm saying here. There are some advantages and disadvantages to the seasons, obviously, and so it was a circus. You go out to the Coldcats games, and it was a circus. It was a carnival. There are all kinds of crazy things. I mean, you got Scratch, the Coldcat mascot, out there. I mean, look, Sergeant Slaughter was there. Professional wrestling Sergeant Slaughter, former WWE champion, man that put me in a headlock at the Funny Bone when Huntington actually had live stand-up comedy on a national level, or at least you were bringing in a lot of national-level acts into Huntington at the Funny Bone. And Sergeant Slaughter was just there because, he's got a connection to the area. And so he puts me in a headlock, and we get a photo of that. I mean, look, if you're a wrestling fan of a certain age, being put in a headlock by Sergeant Slaughter was super cool. Thankfully, he didn't put me in the Cobra Clutch, or I'd probably have been laying out right there in the floor of the Funny Bone that night. And, of course, if you didn't watch Sergeant Slaughter as a kid, he was a G.I. Joe. And those are the kind of things I'm going to miss, bringing people like that into the ballpark for events like that. That's Major League Baseball, but fun. You don't see that kind of stuff sometimes. I mean, you never know what you're going to see at a minor league baseball game. Trust me, if you've been to a Savannah Bananas game, you see what fun can be. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Location's going to be different. I'm going to be over at the Henderson Center. First one of those this year. So we'll be ready to go. Get you set for the Herd and Elon. The Van Komen revenge game. I don't know if Marshall wants me pushing that narrative. Might as well. It's the former Elon player going up against Elon. That should be fun for him. We'll hear more from Coach about that tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.